What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another fight predictions live stream. This weekend, UFC 314, probably the best card we've seen in a while. Really looking forward to it.
Definitely.
If you're new to these, my name is Lucas. The man at my side, his name is Rohan. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this card. Banger after banger after banger. Recently, Carlos Prates got rebooked. Sad that it's off this card, but I'm more excited for his fight against Ian Gary. So at the end of the day, how mad could you be? Before we get into the predictions, Rohan, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I cannot wait for this card. Last week's card, I won't lie, I was very disappointed with that card as a whole. I thought there wasn't enough action throughout the entire thing, not enough finishes for my liking. But this card, man, it is. I feel like it's been a while since we've had a card like this, honestly. You just mentioned the process fight. I wish that was still there, but still, regardless, I mean, we're getting guys like Pitbull and Yair like way down the card. And I mean, it's going to be so fun. So I'm very excited. How about you, bro? How you been?
I'm good, man. I'm really looking forward to this card. It's a great one. Yeah, last week I was so I wasn't really able to watch the entire card, but I was at like a concert, right? And I went on my phone to watch Robert Valentin versus Torres finish. Worst decision I made in my entire life. I was so excited for that fight. And it just the worst UFC fight ever. And then there's the whole thing with the judge. That's the greatest judge of all time, scoring that 30.
I was actually just dying. I could not stop laughing at that. It was like the funniest decision, or funniest scorecard I've ever seen, actually. And we've been through some tough scorecards that have gone against us, but that one, that was just hilarious, bro. That was hilarious.
What a goat that guy is. Like we need it for every event.
Weeks, isn't that something?
Always
Tony Weeks.
Tony Weeks, but I've seen him before. Like he's just like a boxing ref. Like
wait, that was him that was judging?
Yes.
Bro, because I swear I heard that name before Weeks, and I just was like,
yeah.
I didn't even think to look it up. That's crazy, bro. He does not need to be anywhere near the UFC because you could tell.
He's the goat. No, leave him, bro.
Okay. I understand that it's for the jokes that was funny, but Jesus Christ, that is actually the worst scorecard of all time.
If he was around, Aldo would have beat fucking Batista.
Huh?
Aldo would have beat Mario Batista if he was judging that.
Oh no, definitely. But no, that was just hilarious. But yeah, that whole card was just really, I don't know. It was underwhelming to say the least.
It was funny as fuck. That's what it was. Yeah, no, it was underwhelming. Even betting wise, like I kind of shot the bed, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, this is UFC 314. I didn't even say it's the jump. This is my biggest betting card ever. I don't even think it's close.
Oh, wow.
Like 2 of my biggest money line bets ever. So yeah, that's all I really got to say. I think it's time to hop into it because I'm really fucking excited to break down this card.
Yes.
So I'm gonna pull up the whole fight card and we're gonna start from the first fight of the night. Yeah, let's do it. There are a few fights that I'm like, I don't really give a fuck about, but like they're the fights that I care about. They're fights I'm really looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let me share my screen. Let's get this fucking show on the road. Before we get into it, we got Dean saying this card is elite. I agree. Yeah, this card is fucking sick. I was gonna go at first, but shit happens. Not anymore. But I want to go to maybe you and I can run back UFC 316 in New Jersey, huh?
I was literally that is on my list right now. Like I think I'm likely going to that. So yes, we got to run that for sure.
Sounds like a plan. All right, let's get into it. First fight on the card is a fight that I'm probably gonna talk about for 10 seconds. Nora Cornell versus Haley Cowan. Guys, I always want to keep it a buck with you. I don't give a flying fuck. Like, and if I don't give a fuck, I'm not going to sit here and talk for 5 minutes. Maybe Rohan will. Maybe he won't. I don't know. That's up to Rohan. I don't give a flying fuck. I don't care who wins. I'm not going to do any tape. I do not give a fuck. I'm sorry. When I don't give a fuck, like there's one fight per card that I just do not give a flying fuck. I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry. I don't know how many times. Look who's fighting. Why would I care? I don't care. I don't give a fuck. The only thing I will say is I don't know if you saw the thing with Haley Cowan's husband. She's been off for like a year or so now. When was the last time she fought? Almost 2 years ago. That was her last fight. And like a year ago, her husband got arrested for like child sex trafficking or some crazy. Did you hear what I just said?
Yeah, no, I heard a little bit about it in some other like breakdown that I was watching. Okay. Yeah, no, that it's crazy what's going on behind the scenes with it, but yeah.
Yeah, so the only thing I'm thinking with this fight is her life's a mess. So how is that? They both suck.
Yeah.
I think Nora Cornell sucks. I think Haley Cowan sucks, but maybe Kaylee Cowan. She sucks and she's mentally fucked. I guess I'll go.
True.
What's the line right now? Minus 190 Coronel. I mean, I just feel like that's wide regardless because they both suck. Now she's down to
It's
minus
come down a little bit, no? I see it at
minus
like
160.
-160.
I feel like that's probably fair. Yeah, I don't care. So Rohan, you for however
Yeah.
you want to talk about this, go ahead.
I do not. I'll preface by saying I don't care either, but I'll give somewhat of a little breakdown. I just think um, ultimately pretty low level fight, especially I think Cornell on the feet, very predictable. You know, she's got solid physicality. She likes to work against the cage. Decent offensive wrestling, but neither of these girls are good at defensive wrestling. They have really bad takedown defense. I think this one probably plays out on the feet for the most part, but I mean, yeah, the biggest question mark with Cowan is where she's going to be after 2 years. But I mean, when you look back at it, she's really big for the division, and she has, some performances where she's just coming forward and just doing the better work over 15 minutes. A lot of times in these female fights, it comes down to that. So I really think I'm not going to have any strong pick at all for this fight, but I think there's good value on Cowan to be had. So, I mean, I'm obviously don't bet this. I'm not advising that, but I think there's a strong possibility that she wins a close decision just by doing the more work on the feet and doing some better work in the clinch as well because she has some strong shots in the clinch. So I'm gonna pick Cowan, but yeah, do not care whatsoever.
Yeah. No other words. That whole situation with her husband is insane, though. If you're interested, I recommend you go look it up. Just look up Haley Cowan husband. It's fucking insane. But yeah, I don't care. Next fight. This is a fight I really do care about and I'm really looking forward to. Tresean Gore versus Marco Tulio. I've always been a big fan of the Ultimate Fighter, and after like 4 years off, it returned in 2021. And I remember Tresean Gore stuck out because he looked so fucking good on the show, like knocking dudes out left to right. Crazy power he had, right? And then he was supposed to fight in the finale against Brian Battle, pulled out due to injury. And then they rebooked that fight for like 6 months later or like a year later. I don't remember off the top of my head. And it was a very, very close fight. I honestly thought Tresean Gore won, but they gave it to Brian Battle. Besides that, very close fight. It is what it is. And then he gets knocked out by Cody Brundage. Now, I mean, in my eyes, it's a horrible, horrible look. But I'm a fan of Tresean Gore, and I actually wanted to, I watched an interview of his yesterday while I was driving, or I listened. I wasn't watching. And he said something about how his weight cut was so fucking bad that they gave him 2 pounds of IV, and then he was like feeling pulses in his head, and his whole body was thrown off. And I'll take his word. I'll take his word on that. He came back. He looked good against Fremd. Looked good against Tricoli. 2 fights against absolute bums, but he got the same choke, which is he's got a nice guillotine. Look, I mean, I'm going to pick Marco Tulio to finish Tresean Gore, but I don't think he should be this big of a favorite. And I'm probably going to bet Tresean Gore here because I think Tresean Gore's good. And I think Tulio's sloppy, and I think he looks for knockout blows a little too much. He's very powerful, and we've seen Gore may have a questionable chin. So I think Tulio's path is a knockout. But, man, if Tulio can't find that first-round knockout, I mean, I think Gore has a chance at mixing the martial arts here. He's got very hard leg kicks. He hits hard, and now he's a good grappler as well, apparently. So he's training at the MMA lab, I believe. It says NA down here, but yeah, I think he has a chance in this fight. I'm probably going to bet Gore. Is it a biased bet? I don't think so. I actually think he has a chance. I'm saying Tulio is going to win. I just think this line is off. I'd probably line it around minus 180, minus 200 Tulio. I think he has the knockout upside, but I also think Gore can take advantage of some of Tulio's sloppiness. So I'll go Tulio, but I don't mind Gore's price tag.
Yeah, I like the breakdown there. I think there's a lot of good things you said, especially about Gore. I mean, I was high on him a bit as well on the not contender series, the Ultimate Fighter. He looked pretty good, but then he ran into Brian Battle, and I think we can both agree that Brian Battle is in a different tier than both of these guys. I think he's just a
I mean,
better.
I thought Gore won the fight, to be honest.
I don't know. I didn't, to be honest, I didn't watch that back when I was doing my tape, but if I remember when I was watching it live, I thought Battle won. But I think he's progressed better, definitely to start his UFC career. But that said, like you said, Tulio, he does, I mean, just chase knockouts, and you saw it in the contender series fight. I think he fought Duclos, whatever, spinning back kick finish. But man, the way I think he did get hit a few times in that first round. And he was just coming forward, swinging crazy shots with his chin just up in the air. And I don't know how I feel about it because, on the one hand, I think like Tresean Gore, he does hit hard as well. But I mean, I don't know if he's I mean, only one knockout win, so I mean, he's not really the biggest threat to knock you out. But if you're giving him paths to do that, I feel like you can definitely leave yourself open to be clipped. And then the thing I worry about is definitely the wrestling. Like Tulio is not somebody that really engages. I mean, obviously he'll engage in the clinch, but he's not really trying to take the fight to the ground. And I mean, he doesn't have any submission losses. But Tresean Gore, that guillotine, like you mentioned, back-to-back guillotine wins now for him. Obviously, the competition's not the greatest. Like Antonio Tricoli is one of them,
It's so funny.
and then Josh Fremd. I mean, those are the two of the worst fighters that you could fight. But it's good to get those early submissions, and he's doing it really consistently with that guillotine choke. So if that's something that it becomes available, say if Tulio starts to get hurt and somehow starts to chase the takedowns, that'll be there for him. I think that's less likely because Tricoli and Fremd are two fighters that are going to try to chase takedowns, and they will present themselves those guillotine chokes. But yeah, I think the likeliest outcome is Tulio, either by knockout or like a decision where he just does the better work and scores the more damage. But there's definitely a path for Tresean Gore, so I wouldn't count it out. I agree with your breakdown, but yeah, I think Tulio is going to be my pick as well. But not a fight, to be honest, that I have the best read on, just because I feel like both of these guys are kind of raw, inexperienced. I mean, yeah, Tulio has more
Julio's much more.
experience.
He's much
Yeah,
more.
he's got more experience, but still, only like 2017 was his first fight. I think he's still. You touched on it, how sloppy he can get on the feet, and I think like that could come back and bite him. So I wouldn't really touch this, personally, but I think there definitely could be value on Gore. But personally, the safer choice probably Tulio for me.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I'm gonna be rooting for Gore, and I may bet him, but I think Tulio probably finds the knockout. Although I'm looking forward to see what Gore can do here. He sounded very confident in that interview, so
Hmm.
we'll see. Next fight we've got Sumu Darji and Mitch Raposo. Um, uh, I think this line is off. I don't think Sumu Darji should be minus 225. I think he's like minus 210 now. I don't think he should be that big of a favorite. He's had a weird career. Like he comes into the UFC, he goes on like this run, starching these dudes. I mean, it's like Malcolm Gordon though, and it's fucking Zaruk Adashev. And then he had that war with Schnell. I mean, he couldn't put Schnell away. That's kind of that was a bad sign that he gets choked in his own right. Got subbed by Tim Elliott. Not a lot of shame in that. Close fight with Charles Johnson. It's a different matchup here against Mitch Raposo, who I actually don't think is that bad at all. I think he can mix in wrestling here and make this fight very close. I think what's going to happen here is he's going to be like a really good underdog that just falls short on the scorecards, because this is a guy that had a very close fight with Andre Lima. Andre Lima won the fight. I don't think it should have been a split, but Mitch Raposo made that a competitive fight, mixing in the wrestling and whatnot. And we know how good Andre Lima is. Not to do MMA math, but that's a really high level guy. I'd say Andre Lima is probably significantly better than Sumu Darji at this point in his career. I think the only problem here is on the feet. I think it's going to be bad news for Raposo just because of the tail of the tape, like 7.5-inch reach advantage, 3-inch height advantage. I don't think Raposo is a bad striker at all. I just think with the judges, Sumu Darji is just going to be more active, landing those, the jab, the two, the hooks, just going to be connecting a little bit more. Even if he's hitting the gloves, he's going to be doing more, reaching the head of Raposo more. But I think Raposo can make it very close. So I do think the line's a little wide. I'd line it around Sumu Darji minus 160. I don't think minus 210's right. Was considering a bet on Raposo, maybe like a point spread bet. I actually might do that now that I think about it, because I think he can make this very close, but I'm just not sure he gets it done. Want to do a little bit more tape. Both these guys, weird careers. Raposo was in the UFC, out, back in. Oh no, he was on the Ultimate Fighter. Then he had Contender Series appearance, lost there, and then he just got called up to the UFC. And then Sumu, he's been the definition of up and down. It's a tough fight to call. I'll go Sumu Darji by decision. I think this fight goes a distance for sure. Curious what the line on that is actually, because I think Raposo's tough. I don't think he gets finished, and then I think yes, Sumu Darji isn't the best on the ground, but it seemed like he improved his takedown defense in his last fight. Over 2.5 minus 205. I don't mind that juice. Fight goes probably going to be lined around minus 170. I might bet that, honestly. That's probably where I lie, or the Raposo spread. Yeah, that's all I really got to say. I'll go Sumu by a decision, close fight.
Yeah, I really don't mind that point spread bet at all because I really don't see a finish in this fight. I don't think Sumu Darji is going to finish Mitch Raposo because he's not going to submit him, and I mean, Mitch Raposo's never been knocked out. He's proven that he's tough. I mean, fought Andre Lima, fought pretty good competition, and he's shown good durability. So I think, yeah, Sumu Darji on the feet is going to win the minutes because he is really good at actually using his weapons and using his physical tools that he has that range. I mean, he's a really long, lanky guy. And I mean, you mentioned the fight against Andre Schnell, or is that his name? Not Andre Schnell, Matt Schnell.
Andre Schnell. You're mixing Andre Lima and Matt Schnell.
Matt Schnell.
The two
I watched that one back.
Completely different.
Yeah, I know. But I watched that one back and obviously did get submitted. I think, Mitch Raposo, there is a chance maybe if he's able to really later in the fight, I think, score some points with the wrestling and he's able to chain wrestle and get into a dominant position, maybe he can pull off a submission, but it's
I don't think so. I don't
Yeah.
just think that fight with Matt Schnell was a fucking war. Like
It was a war, but I was gonna compliment him. I interrupted myself because I was gonna say, I mean, I was pretty impressed with Sue. I know he didn't knock him out, but Schnell is pretty tough at times. I
No,
think.
bro, he should have slumped him, bro. Schnell is no.
But he looked good. Like I feel like it was more of like, okay, Schnell's like this is an outlier for him and he's looking tougher than he usually does rather than Sue because he was landing some nasty elbows. I mean, that's what I was going to say. He does some really good job in close quarters when he likes to hand fight and just grab onto his opponent's hands and just use that to kind of leverage and land those big elbows. So he was doing a bunch of that to Schnell in that fight. And I just thought he ate those shots a little cleaner or a little better than anybody would have thought. But I just like how active he is in the stand-up. And I think, yeah, Raposo, he's too low volume. He's a really compact guy. He looks to land those bombs, but really doesn't have too much knockout power. I mean, he has knockout power, but Sue's never been knocked out. So I don't think there's a finish in this fight, but I do think I really like what you said about like Raposo making this close because Sue wrestling takedown defense is going to get tested big time in this fight. But every round starts on the feet, and I think he's going to be able to do the much cleaner work on the feet throughout 15 minutes. So yeah, I'll go Sue by unanimous decision, but I could definitely see a split, and I could definitely see a robbery. I do see some outcomes, but I think the safer choice is Sue here, so I'll side with him.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, the reason why I think this fight goes the distance is I do feel like all the finishing potentials on the Sue side. The Schnell fight was weird, but here's the thing that really showed me where Sumu Darji's power is. Like he should be able to finish a guy like that. And he hit him with multiple clean shots and he rocked him, but he, didn't put him unconscious. And we've seen Schnell go unconscious time after time after time.
True.
So that kind of showed me where his power was. I don't really think he's a dangerous power puncher. And then on the flip side, Raposo, I think he'll be able to get Sumu Darji down a few times. But like it's not going to be a war like that Schnell fight. I think Sumu Darji will be more composed when the fight hits the mat. So I think this one probably goes. We're on the same page here. Sumu Darji, close decision, most likely. I think he gets it done, but the light a little wide. Yeah, that's all we got. Cole in the chat saying we are so back. Shout out to Cole. Cole, I heard you were big on Josh Emmett last week. How'd that go for
you? Oh my days.
Yeah, he got fucking dominated by my boy Lerone Murphy.
That even was like, oh my gosh. The whole time it was just like, what is Emmett's plan here? Like
yeah, they were trying to people were saying the commentators were trying to say that was a close fight.
They were glazing.
He was piecing him up, bro.
They were glazing.
He threw him in the second round. Outside of that, he was if Lerone Murphy threw 10 more leg kicks. Emmett's leg
kicks were working. Yeah, the leg kicks were fucked. In the first 2 rounds, his legs were swollen and red, and he just kind of abandoned that, but still got it done.
He said, "Don't remind me of Josh Emmett." Yeah, he sucks. I honestly I bet the fight doesn't go because the way Emmett was talking, he was like, "Bet the house on me, bet the house." I thought he was on roids. I thought that he was on steroids. And then at the same time, I know he's super vulnerable to the legs. I could have seen a leg kick stop it from Lerone, but he just didn't throw it enough.
That line just kept getting wider and wider and wider as it got closer, and I just was like, "Fuck," I got a little scared, but I was pretty happy that Lerone got it done. I mean, it's always a tough opponent where you got to worry about that crazy power 24/7. You can't make many mistakes, but I thought he fought a smart fight, smart enough.
Agreed. Yeah, you can't go into a firefight with him. He did what had to be done.
No, exactly.
All right, let's move on.
There's a funny start.
I'm looking. This is my fight. This is my fight of the year.
Oh my god!
This is literally my fucking fight of the year. It does not get better.
It'll be fun. It will be fun. I mean,
yo. First of all, let me just say, if you guys ever want to hire like a babysitter or somebody that just you know, just somebody that's just a nice guy to be around, spend time around your family. If you just want to befriend somebody, befriend Cedric Dumas. This guy is just such a nice guy. Right, bro. You know what I just remembered the other day, bro?
What?
You're about to die. Remember when Cedric Dumas was like, he like befriended Shara Bullet? He was
Yeah,
like, cool, bro. That was the funniest thing ever.
bro, that crossover, bro.
Criminals.
Literally the criminal duo right now. Oh my god,
That's the
the
like you
dream.
do not expect that, but at the same time, like you do. Like
That's so funny.
that was so funny. How do I say this without? First of all, how many people are in here? Okay, I think Mikhail Ojicic washes Dumas. I think this is just. Well, I think. Oh, this is all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say any bets I have, because I want to keep that to our members. Although I might make our Discord free one last time for this weekend. We'll see. But I think this is just a wash. I think Ojicic should be minus 500. Minus 200 is just light. I think. I just, how does Dumas win this fight? I don't know. I just don't know. He hates pressure. All Ojicic does is come forward. The reason he's only minus 200 is because he's lost 4 of his last 5 on a 3-fight losing streak. Look at who it's against. Michel Pereira in round 1. That's all Pereira does. If all fights were 1 round, Michel Pereira is the best fighter in the world. Fight against Shara Bullet. I mean, he didn't take a step back in that fight. A loss against Kevin Holland. Dropped Kevin Holland. Remember, I was so big on Ojicic in that fight. And he's just so stupid. He goes right into the fucking guard. Fuck, that would have been such a... This is a step down. Big step down. Dumas has looked horrible in the UFC. Yes, he has wins, but wins against who? Cody Brundage. Fucking Abu Zaitar. You probably remember that fight? Remember, I was so...
Dumas is legendary, bro.
Talunin. I mean, he lost or dropped a round to Talunin. He arguably lost to a Zydar. Brundage is Brundage. Like, who is he beating in the UFC? Absolutely nobody. I think Ojicic's going to come forward. Dumas is going to hate it. The only path to victory for Dumas is like if Ojicic shoots a sloppy takedown and Dumas gets like a power guillotine. Outside of that, I think Ojicic is going to fucking starch this dude. Starch him. Probably the most confident I've ever been on a fight when the line is minus 300 or under. Is this fight? I think Ojicic washes him. I'm gonna put a shit ton of money on Ojicic. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I mean it should be that way. It really should, and that's the only thing. Like that, you mentioned it, how he just put himself in that submission against Kevin Holland. Like it's the fight IQ bet. I literally have in my notes. This is a letdown spot. Like he really should win this fight. But again, the losses you went through them. No shame in a lot of those losses. The Shara one aged pretty well.
Kevin Holland. Kyle Barrio too. I didn't even mention that.
Yeah, exactly. So really good competition that he's faced, honestly, in the past couple of fights. And this is a massive step down in competition. Cedric Dumas is just he's borderline UFC caliber. Like maybe you can make the argument. I really don't think he is, but he's so hittable. I mean, he's got decent. He's relatively new to the sport in general. I mean, like he didn't become a fighter until like I feel like it's less than 10 years ago. But he's fast on the feet. That's the only thing he is. He's fast, but it's not like he's putting competent combinations together. A lot of the times it's just random shots. With his eyes kind of just closed. It feels like he's just winging shots just to do it. And yeah, bad defensive wrestler. He actually has decent offensive wrestling, and that is a big part of his game plan nowadays. It feels like. Yeah, I mean, decent.
He took down Brundage. Brundage looked at like he was.
But Brundage is a wrestler. That's all Brundage does is wrestle. So I mean, not true.
Brundage went into that cage looking like he wanted to kill himself. Like I don't know what Brundage that day. I don't even think he's a good wrestler. I just think that was
not good. I mean, he's okay maybe, but the one chance he has to win this fight, and you mentioned it, is like catching him in a sub, because this fight is not going the distance. I would be shocked. I don't know what the line is on that, but it's not going the distance. So I just think, with the way Ojicic fights, just looking for some sort of violent exchange. And he's always, usually the one on the front foot. throwing those big shots. And Cedric Dumas, he's not a fan of that. He's not a fan of pressure. He really succumbs easily to that. And this is, yeah, it's just not a fighter that I think he's ready to face in any sort of way. So I agree 100%. I think this is a fight that Oleksiejczuk, it's a layup. It really is a layup, but I don't know, man. Could he fuck it up? Yeah, but he really needs to win this fight.
He's been training at Fighting Nerds too.
Oh, that's great. I love to hear that. Okay, well then that makes
you know what that means. There's a chance they got him on the sauce.
Exactly, bro. Hey,
that.
that legal sauce, that helps whenever it can. So hey, I like that even more. I'm even more confident now.
It is not legal sauce.
Hey, it's legal sauce, bro. It's legal.
All those motherfuckers on steroids, bro. I hope Mikhail obliged. It was like, yeah, let me get some steroids.
Exactly.
That would have been.
But this is a good spot for him, though.
Then he'd kill Dumas. If Oleksiejczuk was on steroids and I knew that right now, I'd sell everything I own.
Yeah, bro.
But I still think he wins this fight. I think. Yeah, you put it perfectly. Like, this is just not a fight Dumas is ready for. Like, he's gonna get in there and instantly he's gonna realize he's fucked.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Yeah, Oleksiejczuk should watch him. I'm really looking forward to this fight. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna kill myself. But yeah, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna do that. But it would be sad because I'm so like I'm just gonna rethink my overall UFC knowledge. If
Hey man, but it's just these two. I don't know, man. I would be surprised, but like not shocked because it's just like the fight IQ is not the highest in this fight, but. He really shouldn't win. He really should not lose this fight at all.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let's move on. Next fight, we've got Darren Elkins, Julian Erosa. The line is a little weird. Like, I don't think Julian Erosa should really be minus 400 against anybody in the UFC. But at the same time, like, Elkins wins fights off, surviving early and putting a pace on you. And Erosa has pretty good cardio. Erosa, we've seen, has a very weak chin, which is a problem of his. But I don't think Elkins is going to be able to crack Julian Erosa. Maybe later in the fight, he'll that right hand will connect, but that's not Darren Elkins. He doesn't really crack. He just puts a pace on you late with his mixing his grappling with his strikes, and I don't think it'll be a problem for Erosa. But I just think this line is kind of nuts. Minus 400. I'd probably line him minus 300. I think, this just, I want to do a little more tape about this on this fight. I just don't, it's not like a Cornell Cowan where I don't give a fuck. I think this could be a great fight. I'm really looking forward to it. I think there's going to be a shit ton of strikes thrown. I think it's going to be very high pace, a lot of pressure from Elkins as the fight goes on. It's weird. Both these guys are really good cardio, very similar fighters, except Elkins is like ancient at this point, but he's still getting wins, back-to-back wins. Looked really good in that Pineda fight. Excuse me. Erosa's coming off those two guillotines. Yeah, I'm gonna go Erosa, but not a lot of confidence. Yeah, I do think this line is kind of nuts, to be honest.
It's nuts. It's not. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
It's crazy. This line is in. I would never in my wildest years. Look at the resumes. They stack up very similar. Literally damn near the same overall record: 30-11, 29-11. But Elkins, like you just said, he's old as hell. There's no denying that. But he hasn't looked terrible recently at all. Lost to Jonathan Pierce. That was 3 years ago that his last loss. But since then, TJ Brown, Daniel Pineda, that's whatever. Those are some decent wins. And he finished one of them, rear naked choke. Good win to have. Before that, lost to Cub Swanson in 2021 when Cub was still good. Not a bad loss. I think this is going to be a war. I really, when I picture these two, with what I've seen from them throughout every fight I've watched of theirs, like they both had such long UFC careers, let alone MMA careers. But UFC, they've been in this promotion for so long. I was pretty surprised that they hadn't fought each other already, to be honest. But I just think that it has war written all over it because of the things that you mentioned, especially with Julian Erosa's chin being a big question mark right now. I do think that he is the more savvy fighter still at 35. He's still kind of, closer to his prime, I would say, than Darren Elkins, who is now 40 years old. But being that old in the lighter division doesn't really matter all that much. I think he still has his physical tools there. The speed is still there. The reactions is still there. And that's the biggest thing for Elkins is like, you want to see him reacting to the shots well. And he still is somebody that is just tough as nails, man. Like he's only been knocked out 4 times. And How many UFC fights? 41 UFC fights, only been finished by knockout. Only been finished 5 times and only been knocked out 4 times. But I mean, yeah, Julian Erosa doesn't really have that crazy knockout power that I think he's going to catch him on the feet. And I do think that Darren Elkins has that, just ability to just, dig deep and hunker down and just get gritty. And that's how he wins. Like you said it, that's how he comes through is later, just doing the better work in the later rounds. Yeah, there's definitely the possibility for that too in this fight, because if Erosa is trying to get takedowns, or if he's trying to chase a submission and ends up in a bad spot where Elkins is on top, randomly and starts getting some ground and pound shots off, then hey man, like this could get really interesting. But I really do see both fighters having their moments in this fight. I think Erosa early, Elkins down the stretch is how it's gonna be. But yeah, I think this has fight of the night potential for sure. So I'm gonna say, uh, just to be fun, I'll take Elkins by split. I think that's a big possibility. I think Erosa by sub is definitely a big possibility as well. Elkins has been submitted once. Erosa has been getting some submissions recently, back to back, and against good fighters. Well, Ricardo Ramos' ass, but Christian Rodriguez, good guillotine submission there. But also, C-Rod did not look prepared for that. I think this is a good spot here for some violence. So I'm going to say a close decision. Darren Elkins, big upset. Not big upset, but slight upset.
It's a pretty big upset. I mean, minus 400. I mean,
but I really, the line is crazy. What is minus 400 for Julian Erosa? Like, what is that? That's just wrong. I think that's wrong.
Yeah, like I don't think he should be minus 400 in any fight. I do think he should be the favorite, probably around like minus 250, minus 300, just because look at who Elkins is beating. Like Pineda is known to gas out bad. TJ Brown is horrible. I mean, lost Jonathan Pearson.
Yeah, we were both on that Pineda. I remember the Pineda fight. We were both on the same. I think we were both on Elkins there because we had the same call. Like he would slow down. But yeah, I don't know. Elkins just gets. He's a grower, and he builds a builder. I mean, he builds into the fight, and I think like that's a strong possibility against somebody that really doesn't have crazy knockout power. Like he does have 11 wins by knockout, but I mean, not recently, anyways. Not recently. So. It'll be a fun fight. I really see a fun fight. So just to be fun, I'll take Elkins. But yeah, the line is crazy.
Yeah, I think in any war, the Elkins shouldn't be this big of a dog. I do think Erosa probably wins a decision, but any sort of war like this, Elkins always has a chance. So I'll go Erosa by decision. But yeah, I'm with you on this. This line is kind of nuts. Well, I bet Elkins. I don't know. TBD. Next, we've got Chase Hooper, Jim Miller. Yeah, I think Chase Hooper is probably the truth. Again, like this, like what are we doing with these lines? Like minus 800, Chase Hooper is ridiculous. But yeah, he should win this fight. I mean, I don't know though. Like Jim Miller has a real chance.
He does.
Like this is like this line. Like you can't line. Like here's the thing, Chase Hooper, right? He knocked down Borshev a few times. He just has a really suspect chin, Borshev. Then hit the ground. He just dominated him. He armbarred Clay Guida, as he should have. Submitted Jordan Levitt. Beat Nick Fury. I mean, this is a step up in competition. Like, this is the best fighter he's fought in the UFC, except maybe Steve Garcia. But, like, out of his last 4 wins, I mean, this is the best. Out of his last 4 fights, this is going to be the best guy. Despite him being 41, I mean, he's still getting wins. I do think Chase Hooper wins. I mean, I'd probably line him like minus 400, just because, I mean, he's the younger guy. On the ground, he's incredible. The striking, I still don't think is amazing. I just think you drop Borshev a few times because Borshev just has a fucking horrible chin, and you just hit him right in the button. I don't think he's going to be able to drop Jim Miller at all, actually. I think Jim Miller is very, very tough. We saw him take some big shots from Bobby Green and just eat them shits 15 minutes. But I do think that this fight is going to get into some sort of grappling scenario. And as soon as that happens, I mean, it's Hooper's world. I think Hooper's got, I don't know. I'm really looking forward to see where his career goes, man, because he's only getting better. This is really going to tell us where he is right now. If he's able to dominate Jim Miller, I mean, I'm going to be impressed. I know Miller, again, is 41 and a half, but it's a guy that's, he's fighting really good fighters, and he's winning some of those fights. So, yeah, I'm going to take Chase Hooper, but I think this line is kind of nuts just because on the feet, I think Miller might even be better on the feet, honestly. And at the same time, like, it's not like Hooper's like some sort of takedown maestro, right? Like, he's like kind of a frail guy. I mean, he's filled into his body much, much more than what he used to. What he used to look like when he was like, what, 20 in the UFC. I mean, it was bad. I do still think he'll probably be able to get a few takedowns here. And as soon as like he's just like a fucking sponge, like he's like a fucking tarantula, like a spider, like he'll just fucking, he's got them long ass fucking limbs. He just fucking, I don't know, describe him, man. Yeah, he probably gets a sub. But on the feet, man, if Miller can stuff some takedowns, it's gonna be a problem for him. I might bet Jim Miller just because I think this line is fucking ridiculous. But I'm gonna pick Hooper to win the fight. A lot of just weird lines on this guy. This is probably I think this. See, like you'll disagree, but I think this is probably crazier than the Elkins Rosa line. Like Hooper minus 800 wrong. And I'm seeing minus 850 places.
Like, yeah, when it gets past 800 is where you start to get a little, but like 700, 650, I could see it. But this is what I'm gonna say about this one. I definitely. This is a big spot for Chase Hooper because 25 years old, coming off of a good win, a few good wins actually. I mean, he really hasn't lost since 2022 when he fought Steve Garcia, and he was still 22 years old at that point. So you throw it out. Not throw it out, but like it matters a little less at this point. He looked good in the Vyacheslav fight, and I think he even in the few seconds that have lasted on the feet against Guida, like you can tell that he is starting to feel a lot more confident in his ability on the feet, and I love to see that, especially as somebody who came into UFC so young. For him to have the natural steady progression on the feet, I mean, it's so cool that he has the grappling just in the back pocket. You don't need to worry about it. But like you do say, he's not a wrestler. He's a jiu-jitsu guy. Like he's an opportunistic grappler. He will submit you when there's a chance to and when he sees an opportunity to do so. But he's not going out there to take you down and submit you. I think he actually is going to be content in this fight to just chill on the feet and do what he does at a distance, because I think he understands himself now. Like in the beginning of his career, he didn't really understand, like, obviously his frame was so thin on the feet. He was always worried about getting hit. You can tell that he didn't have the confidence in himself to get hit and push through that. So that was a big detriment to him earlier. But now, like you said, I mean, he looks more like a man. He looks more like an actual, UFC fighter that's filling into his frame. And I just think that fighting behind those long kicks that he's got, though, he uses the teep now. He uses those leg kicks. Those shots against Jim Miller keep him at bay. That's all you need to do for 3 rounds, and you're going to get an easy decision. So I think that's a big possibility for Chase Hooper in this one. I wouldn't even say like the submission is that obvious, because I mean, like, Jim Miller is not going to try to take this fight to the ground, I don't think, because he doesn't want to even put himself down there. And Chase Hooper is not even the guy that's chasing takedowns. Like, he just, if you get against him, if you put him in a situation against the cage and he sees an opportunity to get to your back, then he'll do that. But he's not going to go out there and wrestle you and hug you and hold you down just to get a hold of you and get to your back. Like, he's not that type of guy. So I really do think that his confidence and his ability on the feet is at an all-time high. It's continuing to get better. And this is a perfect storm. Like, when these two are fighting, I mean, it is a funny fight just because, Jim Miller is the veteran of all veterans, but you're catching him at the perfect time and when you're actually looking the best you have in your career. So I like this matchup a lot for Chase Hooper. I do think that it'll take a big turn or big, catastrophe for him not to win this fight. Really, I can't see him losing this one unless he gets knocked out, like flash KO'd. But Jim Miller ain't got it like that in 2025. I can't bet on that. So I think Chase Hooper gets it done. I'm going to pick him actually by unanimous decision. I think he just cruises to an easy 30-27 on the feet.
I mean, you don't think if Miller gets some space and defends a few takedowns, he's live on the feet?
I don't know, man, because what it is like, I think Chase Hooper is I think the reach is a little like underappreciated. Like, people don't even, because he's not even that, he never has been that guy. But recently and now against somebody like Jim Miller, who has to get inside to do any sort of damage on you, like, he has to close that distance. You said it, like, Chase Hooper is not a wrestler. He's not, like, if he wins this fight by submission, I think, like, I don't know, like, either he gets hurt and Jim Miller is in a finishing position and then Chase flips it into a submission, or like he hurts Jim Miller somehow on the feet and then club and subs him. I really don't see Chase Hooper going in there to be like, yeah, I got to take Jim Miller down and go get the submission. So because he believes in his hands now. I don't think Jim Miller has it in 2025. The speed's not there. The reaction's not there. We saw that against Bobby Green, the way Bobby Green was just picking him apart. I mean, did get a good win in his last fight, but who was it against? Damon Jackson, and it was by guillotine. I mean, you're not submitting Chase Hooper, so yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, I think this fight could be closer than what you said, but yeah, at the same time, I'm going to Hooper, so I can't really fight with you that much. All right, let's move on. We've got Virna Jandiroba taking on Xiaonan Yan. I mean, this is a tough fight to call, but I'll probably bet the underdog here in Yan Xiaonan. I just don't think she should be plus. What is she now? Like plus 125. I think this should be a 50-50 fight. I think this should be minus 110, minus 110. If that Xiaonan Yan fucking Carlos Esparza fight never happened, I'm probably looking at a max bet.
How long ago was that now? They're like
that's what I'm saying. I mean, that fight was 4 years ago. You got to think she's training a Team Alpha Male. You got to think her takedown defense is improving big time. But Jandiroba is super strong for this weight class. But I think on the feet, it's a wash. And I think it's going to hit the cards. I think nobody's getting finished. And I think it's going to be a damage control situation. I think they're going to side with the damage of Yan Xiaonan. I think her takedown defense is getting better. We saw Virna sub Amanda Lemos in the last fight, but, Lemos stuffed some takedowns, and Lemos is known for not having the best takedown defense. If Xiaonan Yan is just working on that day, that's all she needs to do this camp. If she just trains hard on that takedown defense, I think it's already a wash on the feet. I think this is going to be a damage over control fight when it hits the cards. I still do think Virna will get Yan down a couple times. Just don't think she'll finish her or come close to it. I think Yan will do more on the cards when it comes to the damage. I'll go 29-28. Unanimous decision, Xiaonan Yan. I'm going with the dog in this one.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough one to call. It really is, because I honestly think like it could be close. It could be close for the reasons you just laid out. Virna, her striking is just it's non-existent. She doesn't know how to strike. It's like funny actually watching her strike. But the wrestling is a real problem for everybody in that division. I mean, when she gets you down, it takes everything and more to get back up, and that's where I really struggle with this fight, because Zhang Jianan had really, really great moments in that fight against Zhang Weili where she looked like she was gonna finish her, and that was crazy to see. But like Lucas was saying, that fight against Esparza did happen enough time ago now to where you have to believe that the takedown defense has improved at least somewhat. But my issue here, man, is it's more with Virna. I think she is so insufferable for her opponents when she gets them down, because she's just suffocating. She does not let you get any space. And Lucas did say, I don't know where he went, but he said, I think she gets a couple takedowns. If she gets a couple takedowns, I think those are the rounds. Like, that is the round. If Virna gets Yan Xiaonan down in round 1, I think she's going to hug her and hold on to her for the rest of that round. If she does it again in round 2, I think it's going to be the rest of the round. Like, I really struggle to see. We haven't seen Yan Xiaonan's get-up game tested like the way it will be in this fight, because she is going to have to do 10 times the amount of work to stay upright, and then 10,000 times the amount of work to get back to her feet in this fight, because Virna is just somebody that does not give you any lick of space. So I do think it'll be a damage over control. That is definitely the right read on this fight. But I just think that in this spot, it's one of those rare ones where the control is just so overwhelming that it might get her over the line. So I do think it's probably lined right, but I'm going to take Virna. I'm going to take Virna by unanimous decision. I am on the other side here once again.
Yeah, fair. I mean, it's going to be close regardless. Don't want to talk about this one for too long, but I do think that, as you mentioned, I heard some of what you were saying, that Virna's, the striking's not existent. She's going to come forward and throw hooks, and that's really it. I think Yan Xiaonan will probably be the more technical fighter here, and I feel if Virna just had a little bit better striking and was able to mix in her takedowns better, I'd probably pick her, but I think she's going to shoot a lot of telegraph takedowns. And yes, Xiaonan Yan is not have the best takedown defense, but I think she'll be able to telegraph these takedowns and probably win a decision. But I hear what you're saying, though. It's a close fight. All right, let's move on. Dan Ige, Sean Woodson. Wow, this is actually a close fight. I'm gonna let you go first on this. I wanna hear what you have to say. I'm a little, I'm a little on the fence, because we saw Woodson. He's I don't know. It's
I'm excited for this one though. I'm very, very, very excited for this fight because, you know, like Sean Woodson was just like chilling in the UFC for some time. Like he came in pro in 2019, had a good win against Terrence McKinney on the Contender. Um, Flying knee, actually, I remember that. It doesn't even seem like he does that type of shit, but that's a great looking back on it. But he was just hanging around, just hanging around. Won over Yusuf Zalal in 2021, win that's aged very well, actually. Um, and then he fought Dennis Bazooki at 2023. Good fight, easy win. Then he fought Charles Jourdain. That was a decent step up, but he looked good and he won, and he did enough just by being the smarter, safer guy. The Alex Caceres win, good win against another very similar long striker, and he just did the better work, landed the more damaging shots. Fernando Padilla then got a really good win against Padilla, but against Padilla is one of those guys that's kind of round winner bust, and he also goes for the finish and is very hittable. So when you're looking back on the career, like I have been very, very impressed with the way he's looked, but the level of competition does worry me just a bit as I'm looking back on it, right? Like, I mean, you look at who Dan Ige is facing, and it's just like killer after killer after killer. Lerone Murphy, Diego Lopes, Feely, Mitchell, Landwehr, Jackson, Evloyev, Emmett, Korean Zombie. I mean, he's Cater, Barboza. It goes on and on and on. He has faced every body in the division just about at his tier, on his tier. So this is the question: is Woodson on that tier, and is he better than Danny Gay? Is he somebody that is going to give Danny Gay a lot of trouble? I really think the answer is that yes, I do, and it's not because like I get it that he hasn't really faced anybody like Danny Gay. He definitely has not. Will not argue that. But stylistically speaking, man, I feel like it makes so much sense for Sean Woodson in this spot because Dan Ige, I mean, we know what the recipe is with him. Close the distance, fight in a phone booth, mix in some takedowns where you can, but really just look to land those fucking bombs that he's got in the pocket. And he has bombs. When I say bombs, he's got bombs in his hands. So Woodson is going to have to be on high alert, high alert. And Ige has never been knocked out, never been finished in his UFC career. So that's not really on the table. If you're on the Sean Woodson side, you pretty much know how he's going to win this fight. It's going to be by a decision. But you got to question whether Ige is going to be able to land those big shots. I really don't think so, though. That's the thing. I think Sean Woodson, what I've been most impressed about is how smart he is. He fights within himself. He doesn't take too many dumb risks. Like I really am a fan of his fight IQ. And like Ige historically, I feel like has struggled with guys that can just keep him at bay. I mean, like Lerone Murphy, for example, was able to do it to him. Diego Lopes, that was a crazy fight. I mean, it came together in 3 hours. We really don't have too much to say about that one. But other than that, I mean, Feely is somebody that's kind of same, level as him. Not really a big height advantage there. Bryce Mitchell, same thing. Nate Landwehr, Damon Jackson, like all these guys are kind of like they're willing to go in there and trade and have like these wild exchanges with you. Sean Woodson is not going to do that. He is going to be very smart. He's going to make Dan Ige have to work very hard to close that distance. And yeah, I think that Sean Woodson's going to be able to do the better work on the feet over the course of 3 rounds, just land the cleaner shots. I think he's going to really, really really do some damage on Dan Ige because if Dan Ige doesn't, have success closing the distance and he starts to get frustrated and doesn't get any takedowns, which I think is very unlikely for him in this one as well. I just think it could get pretty one-sided. So I'm actually going to pick Sean Woodson by unanimous decision. I don't know what the line is. Yeah, he's a pretty considerable favorite, -170. I'm a little surprised. I thought he would be maybe closer to like -130, -140, but I'm still picking him here. I think it's just a good matchup for him. Stylistically speaking, it's a good matchup.
I think I'm gonna be on the other side. I think I'm gonna go Dan Ige. And I say that because first of all, Sean Woodson lost that fight against Alex Caceres. Ige's a different style to Alex Caceres, obviously. Caceres taller, longer, but both of them are very, very tough. Both of them don't get knocked out. And I saw in that fight that Caceres was able to pressure Woodson against the fence, and Ige is just able to pressure him and push him against the fence and just throw those bombs. I mean, it's going to be a problem. Here's the thing about Woodson. Yes, he's got the reach. Yes, his boxing is insanely crisp, but it's not like what he's doing is stopping you from entering the pocket. And I think Ige can slowly pressure Woodson and start to hurt him up against the fence. I mean, once this fight is up against the fence, I mean, it's going to be his world. And if it's out in the open, Woodson's going to be cooking. But as the fight goes on and Ige's still trotting forward, I think it's gonna be trouble for Sean Woodson. I really do. We saw he slowed down in that Caceres fight, lost round three pretty clearly. Honestly, I can see an Ige knockout maybe. We saw Sean Woodson get subbed once. He's never been finished. But at the same time, he's never fought anybody like Dan Ige. No, the hardest hitter he's probably faced was Fernando Padilla, probably, if we're being honest. Yeah. I think if Ige can close the distance, I mean, it might be game over. I think this is a pretty good matchup for Dan Ige, to be honest. I'm going to be on the other side. I mean, as you were saying, I mean, I hear what you're saying. I do think that Woodson, for moments of this fight, it's going to look like maybe domination when they're out in the open in the middle of the octagon in the big cage. If this was in the Apex, I mean,
That's what I was thinking. You just mentioned what I was thinking, but like when he fought Caceres, it wasn't in the Apex. So I did go back and just check that real quick, and he did get pressured like in an open octagon. So it's not out of the question. It
I
absolutely
don't think it is at all. I think Ige can pressure him against the fence. And when Woodson realizes that he can't hurt Dan Ige, I think Ige is just going to be pressuring. And Ige has fought so much high-level competition. He's fought the best of the best. I don't think he's scared of Sean Woodson, and I think that's huge for him here. And I think Dan Ige can find a knockout here. I think I'm going to go Dan Ige by second or third round KO. Yeah, I like Ige here.
That's fair. That's fair. I definitely that you just said. I mean, if he's not scared of him per se, like whatever, like yeah, that kind of does kind of make a difference, because when you're not worried about getting knocked out by somebody, it just gives you a little more confidence in what you're doing offensively. So I could see Ige kind of just throwing caution to the wind and just being like, yeah, I can take you, I'm gonna knock you out. But at the same time, I think Sean Woodson, I mean, he's has a lot of momentum right now. I think he's been doing the right things, just fighting a really smart style, and I think it can get the job done. But it's going to be a really intriguing matchup either way. I really like this matchmaking here for sure.
Rohan's on the favorite. I'm on the dog. It's going to be a great fight. You're right. It's an absolute banger. All right, let's move on. Nikita Krylov, Dominic Reyes. Krylov's been away for about 2 years now. A lot of people thought like he died or something, but apparently he's okay. I think he like had like a surgery, and then he was supposed to fight Mirzakhanov at the MSG card this past November. That got canceled. And now he's here against Dominic Reyes. Yeah, I think Krylov should win. Again, ring rust. Who knows? He had a surgery. It was either back or shoulder. I heard people say multiple things. But I do think, I mean, I don't think Krylov, I think he'll be able to push through any early storm from Reyes here. I think he'll be able to get takedowns. I think the fact that he has a wrestling threat is going to open up the hands, and then we know Reyes' chin isn't really there anymore. I think Krylov can knock out Dominic Reyes here, honestly. What's the line on the under here? They got a bunch of props out already. Under 1.5 is where it's line, plus 135. I don't know. I think Krylov might, at this stage in both of their careers, I think Krylov might be better everywhere. But I'm a little concerned with those intangibles. Like he's, ring rust, 2 years, surgery, major surgery, clearly. But the guy's still 32. He's in the prime of his career. Yeah, and I think he's really good. I mean, you look at his 2 losses, lost to Magomed Ankalaev. He took a round off Magomed Ankalaev. Got submitted by Paul Craig, but he knocked out Paul Craig, woke Paul Craig back up, and then Paul Craig hit his signature move. I don't really count that fight. Beat the shit out of Gustafsson. Uzdemir kind of had him a little hurt, but I think Uzdemir hits fucking hard. And I don't think Reyes has that kind of power anymore. And Krylov was able to solve that puzzle, so I think he's able to solve this puzzle. He's a very smart fighter. And he's just solid everywhere. Great hand. I won't say great hands, but he's got good striking. He's got some power. And then his wrestling grappling is also really solid as well. We saw that triangle choke. I know it's Ryan Spann, but I mean, he wrapped that thing up quick. I like Nikita Krylov here a lot.
Yeah. This is another one I don't know, man. For me personally, it's a tough one to call because I think I'm maybe a little biased towards Dom Reyes because I've really wanted to see this comeback from him. And it's like not even really an official comeback, a little mini comeback after that horrible 4-fight losing streak, and really it was those last two that really did it. I mean, the Prohaska knockout, one of the more violent knockouts that I can remember, honestly, in my time watching the UFC. I remember exactly what I was doing. Me and my brother were watching that fight, and I rewatched it in the morning because it was running. I was like, dude, this is one of the nastiest knockouts. It was really sad to see it. But then we were in attendance for that Span one, and that one was even worse because it was just like, it's Ryan Span, number one. It's not, like a real contender. And then he just got jabbed. It was a literally power jab. I mean, crazy, crazy, crazy. But then, took the time off, took 2 years off, well, a year and a half, and came back and looked good against Dustin Jacoby. We were both on him in that fight, and he did prove us right. He looked really good. And then had a good matchup against Anthony Smith. I mean, a fight that he should be winning in 2024, and he got it done inside the distance, which I like to see a lot. I think this is not a big step up. But I think it's a step up for sure from Smith and Jacoby to Krylov. But you mentioned all the things that the question marks on the Krylov side, like the time off, the surgeries. Where is he after all that? It's literally been over 2 years. This is not like a year and a half or anything. This is a 2-year gap in fighting, and that is a long time for somebody that's not really ever proven to be somebody that's threatening for a title shot or has all this crazy skill in one department. I think he's well rounded for sure, but I don't think he shines anywhere. I think he's pretty sloppy. He's good on the feet, but he can be sloppy. He tends to get sloppy, even though for the most part, like, he does just fight behind those powerful 1-2s that he has, and they do a good job for him. They do the majority of his leg work, but I do think there's times where he just gets a little too ahead of himself, and probably was the reason that he lost to Magomed. But I mean, he's faced a really crazy. I mean, you look at his resume: Jan Blachowicz, OSP, Glover. I mean, Johnny Walker. He's faced everybody that you want to see him fight. So. But the same can be said about Dom Reyes. I mean, what are we talking about? This is Dom Reyes here, man. This is somebody that was challenging for the belt against the GOAT. So I do think that, like, is that version of Dom Reyes somewhere down there, maybe? Like,
it's a massive step up in competition. I mean, he's going from Dustin Jacoby and Anthony Smith. You got to take those with a grain of salt. Both fighters very chinny. I think that Jacoby Reyes fight was a fight where either of them could have got knocked out, to be honest. That case, it happened to be Reyes. And then obviously Anthony Smith had the whole thing where he literally was grieving the loss of his friend and was in the cage asking Reyes to hurt him.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying those wins were amazing or anything. I think that, like, maybe because I think he is the cleaner striker. I actually do think, like, maybe the knockout power is not on his side here, but I do think that he is the faster guy with the hands, and I think that he can hurt Nikita Krylov, especially if Ozdemir can, then I think Reyes can as well. And I don't think, Krylov has good wrestling.
Ozdemir hits like a fucking truck.
So does Reyes. Reyes hits hard too, man. He has back-to-back.
At this point of his career, I really don't know.
He didn't even get to show anything against Ryan Spann because that ended so fast. And he was hurting Yuri Prohaska. He actually did hurt Yuri Prohaska a few times, but it's Yuri. Like, I mean, what are you going to do?
Completely different fighter now after two vicious, worst knockouts it can get, dude.
But he took the time off. I love the fact that, I mean, I feel like he's that, not the same fighter anymore because of the time that he's taken off. And he was in a dark place mentally too. He talked about all the struggles that he had, after the John Jones loss. How can I mean, that loss was so devastating. I can't understand how the loss, affected the rest of that, streak for him, because it was just like, I was that close. I almost had it against the GOAT. And then I come up short and then, lose to Jan in that fashion. And then it's just your confidence is shot. But right now, I think he's feeling confident. It's really the chin. I worry about Dom's chin, and I worry about Nikita's, physicality, where he's going to be cardio-wise. We haven't mentioned, like, the cardio is a big question mark for Krylov too. 2 years off, and somebody that is a guy that fights with high output, looking to finish fights. Dom Reyes is somebody that's very hittable, but in that back half of the second round, if he expended a lot of energy in that first round trying to finish him, maybe Reyes comes on strong. So, I'm going to stick to my gut. Something in my gut is telling me that Dom Reyes can get this job done. And I've been right about him before. So as an underdog against Justin Jacoby, you were with me that time. You're not this time. That's fine. I'm going to stick it out with Dom Reyes by, I don't know what he's going to do, but I think this is a winnable fight for him. It's winnable. And I think I've seen at his peak, I've seen a better version of Dom Reyes than I've seen of Nikita Krylov. So after 2 years off, who knows where he's at? I think the line is a little wide, so I'm gonna say Dom Reyes, but not confident at all. This is one of my least confident picks on the card, but just for the vibes, Dom Reyes.
I feel like you could agree. I feel like I kind of disagree with what you just said. I feel like the peak of Krylov, he was better than the peak of Reyes. I honestly think Jones
I
looked
don't
so.
know, man.
I think Jones looked so fucking bad in that fight. Like he was done, like checked out at light heavyweight. And then he gets sparked 3 times in a row, kind of showing where his level was at. And then
I could look dumb. I could look like a fool because there is high potential for Krylov to just knock him out. I mean, he can definitely just knock Dom Reyes out with like, I mean, he throws crazy shots too. I mean, he's throwing head kicks, he's throwing spinning kicks, he's throwing big looping shots. Like, there's a lot coming at Dom Reyes. So if that chin is really gone, this is a bad stylistic matchup, and it could be. It very well could be. Maybe I'm just biased in this one. I really feel like maybe I'm convincing myself to pick Reyes, but I don't know, man. I don't have. Not like a bad.
I mean, this is coming from somebody who I've cashed on Reyes in both of his last fights. I bet his money line against Jacoby like plus 200, and I bet him big in like parlays against Anthony Smith. It's just I think this is a step up. That's really.
All right, you've convinced me. I'm changing my pick. Real quick, I'm just gonna change because I do feel like I'm remembering what I've seen from Dom, and I don't like the striking defense, man. Because that chin, if you're getting power jabbed by Ryan Spann, we were in attendance. I mean, I feel like Krylov can hit harder than that if you give him the chance. And fuck, man, that's tough. But I'm in my heart, I'm picking Dom Reyes, but in my mind, I'm picking Krylov.
There you go. Let's go to the chat. We got Cole saying Dom Reyes round 1 KOs, come back for the belt. Yeah, I'll pay you if that happens. Lopes puts Volk to retirement. We'll get to that fight in about like 15, 20 minutes, but I disagree. And then our first ever comment from Twitch is a bot trying to get us to buy viewers.
Damn it.
Fuck your promo. I'm banning you. How do I ban? Oh, I can't do it. Options. No, not again. Fuck. Okay. That's what we got. Tobes and Jeff saying, just got to the live. I like Danny Gay plus 5.5. I like that a lot. What's that line?
That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
I love that. Yeah, I think Ige wins the fight outright. Rohan disagrees, but I think at the minimum he makes it very close.
Plus 5.5 is a lot, though. That's a lot.
All right, let's move on. What do we got? Yair Pitbull. This is a weird fight. Because I feel like on the feet, this is a wash. Wash. Another thing, Pitbull, 37 years old, and if I'm not mistaken, in his last 3 fights, they've all been at different weight classes. That Sergio Pettis fight was at 135. Insane that he cut that much weight to try to make 135, and he did. And then he got dominated because he was fucking frail as shit out there because he cut so much weight. And then he takes a short notice fight a month later in Risen, moves up to 155, gets knocked out. What is he doing? And then he takes 8 months off, comes back, looks good against Jeremy Kennedy. Started off slow.
He looked all right against Jeremy Kennedy.
He started off slow, but then he turned it up and he got the fucking finish. And Jeremy Kennedy is somebody who looked really good in the PFL this past Thursday.
I watched that one too. He did. He was a big underdog too. I was surprised. He was devastated at the end of that fight. He was.
Oh yeah, I'd be devastated too. That was yeah. He's now 37, about to be 38. All that weight fluctuations, all those weight fluctuations. I mean, I think it's going to play an effect. But here's the thing about Yair Rodriguez: 0 takedown defense whatsoever. And I mean, if Pitbull wants to strike with Yair, he's fucked. If he spams takedowns, it's his only chance. If he spams takedowns, he can probably get a sub. But I don't know if at his age that sort of game plan is kind of something he can do. On the feet, I think he's going to get picked apart, man. Picked apart bad. I'm really looking forward to this fight because I've been a fan of Pitbull for a while. If we just go back and look at his career, he's been in Bellator for a minute, but I want to look more recently, right? Like he had that fight against AJ McKee. McKee was a big prospect. That was a huge win for McKee. And I honestly thought he lost to McKee clearly in the rematch. But it didn't go McKee's way for whatever reason. Dominated out Adam Borks, looked really good there. Had a fight against some risen dude. Don't really know much. I've never watched that fight. And then for some reason drops to 135, and that kind of fucked him. It's weird. It's weird. You really don't know where this guy is in his career. But based off what I've seen, I think it's a wash on the feet. And I don't know if he's going to be able to put like a high-level wrestling pace on Yair, but Yair is no takedown defense, so it's really tough. I mean, Where the fuck did Rohan go? Oh.
I don't even know. This time I didn't even press like a button or anything. I don't know what happened, but anyway, I
Did
heard
you hear what
everything.
I said? Like, I'm having a tough time, but I
No,
think
I
I'm
heard
to Josh.
everything that you're saying. I don't know. Wait, so who are you going with? Yair, I'm assuming.
I'm gonna go Yair. I think the volume will pay dividends on the feet.
Yeah. He's the pick, bro. You can't. I think this is it's a step down for him to go from who he's been fighting to Patricio Pitbull at this stage in his career. I mean, yes, he looked pretty bad against Brian Ortega. I was very disappointed with that effort from Yair. I mean, I don't know who I picked in that fight. I think I might have picked him, to be honest, and that's why I was even more disappointed. But he just did not look up for it against Brian Ortega in like Mexico City in a big moment for him, and it didn't really look like he wanted to be there. So that was disappointing. But I mean, to go from Brian Ortega and Volk and Josh Emmett and Holloway, and who that was an amazing fight. One of my favorite fights. Oh my God, Holloway Rodriguez, what a fight. But that was literally a striker showcase where Yair's striking was on full display. The full arsenal was there. He was hitting tornado kicks in that fight. Like he was just pulling every trick out of the bag. And yeah, I feel like we should get that version of Yair in this fight. He should have that confidence that he stepped in. I swear, when he fought Holloway versus in 2021 versus when he fought Ortega in 2024, the confidence level that you can see from the first moment of that fight was just completely different. And yeah, I don't know why that was against Ortega the second time around, because I mean, it was a rematch, like a weird scenario in Mexico City with the, kind of weird context around it. But I don't know. I think that was kind of like an outlier for him. The Yair that I know is the one that fought against Max Holloway, the one that put a good fight up against. Well, he didn't really against Volk, but he kind of got dominated. But still, he fought for the title, and he had some really impressive performances in the UFC. I mean, we can go back as far as one of my favorite knockouts of all time, the Chen Sung Jung, where he was just out of it until he landed that crazy elbow. I mean, this is one of the trickiest strikers of all time. He has everything in the arsenal. And yeah, like Pitbull is going to have to, for 3 rounds, just like either come forward and hug him, which I don't think Yair is going to allow him to do, or land a big shot. But Yair is not really like live to be knocked out. I mean, Yair is one of the toughest guys around. So yeah, this is a wash. It is a wash on the feet. It doesn't feel like a wash. It is a wash on the feet. He's going to smoke him on the feet. And I just think that this is a perfect matchup for him. It's way too late. Why are they bringing Pitbull into the
But how
UFC
about
now?
the wrestling? I want to hear, like, you didn't really get into that.
Like, yeah, it's there, but I mean, even in the Kennedy fight, I mean, in all of these fights recently, it's been a while since.
I'm talking about on the Yair side. Look at that Yair.
Oh,
Like,
no, but I'm saying, yes, that's a
Ortega,
big concern. It's a big
listen.
concern.
Ortega like blew his ankle out in the beginning of that fight. You remember? Like, he rolled his ankle, gets dominated 10-8, and then
That was funny.
fucking Yair just like vanishes and just gets grapple fucked. Just
I know.
easily, it's like he gives up. I'm still going Yair, but like you're not even.
No, I will admit, like that was I talked about how disappointed I was with the way he just laid down and died against Ortega. It was very disappointing, but I mean, he was fighting better off of his back in the Volk fight, even though he did get finished. But like he was moving around trying to get up. Like, I mean, I just don't think Pitbull is gonna put that sort of pressure on you at this stage in his career. 37 years old, like he's not really shown to be like the most willing wrestler. Like he's not going out there and just like trying, like he does have 12 wins by sub, but it's like, I mean, when's the last one? 2021 against Emmanuel Sanchez. Probably not a UFC caliber guy. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know who that is, but still, I feel like Yair's been around. Like he's seen guys like this before. There's no way he's gonna get held down for 3 rounds. If this happens again, like I'll be willing to just say, hats off to Patricio. He did the job, but it doesn't concern me to that point, man. It doesn't. Like, yeah, there could be moments against the fence where he looks a little, stuck, but I just feel like for those moments that it's on the feet and Patricio is not pressing the action to get this fight to the ground, when he's just sitting there and actually willing to stand and strike with this guy, it's gonna look really bad. It's gonna look really bad. So Yair Rodriguez, I guess by a dominant decision, but I don't know, man. This is a fight he shouldn't be losing. He really shouldn't be losing in my eyes. But
He's also
I don't
been
know.
training at Bilal's camp too, which I think is really
That's
good.
great. I didn't know that. That's great.
Yeah. EG saying Pitbull plus 3.5. I mean, I'd probably steer clear, to be honest. I just think on the feet it's a fucking wash. So yeah, I'd steer clear from that. FBS saying, what up, boys? Had to pop in real quick. We'll rewatch the West. All good. We'll rewatch the rest. It's kind of a tongue twister. Shout out to FBA though. Hope all is well. I think, is that it? Are we done here?
Yeah, we're done. Not a lot of confidence. Not the most confidence, but pretty confident. Pretty confident
Pretty
in
confident.
Yair here.
That's fair. That's fair. It's just that grappling upside's there, but again, as I mentioned, who knows if with all these intangibles on the Pitbull side, his age, the weights, who knows if he'll be
Yeah,
able to
that
fight
weight fluctuation, that's crazy. 3
insane,
different weight
right?
classes. That's it.
Now he's in the UFC. All right. This fucking fight right here. Bryce Mitchell, Jean Silva. Here's the thing. I see a lot of people going back on that John Silva Charles Jourdain fight, and they're saying, "Oh, look, he keeps pulling guillotine. He's trying to punch instead of defending the takedown." I mean, dude, that's a guy in Charles Jourdain who's not really an offensive grappling threat, really. I feel like Silva, I mean, he's kind of autistic, but I do feel like he's kind of smart enough to know that the threat Bryce Mitchell holds if this fight is to hit the mat, and I think he'll stick to a game plan and actually stuff the takedown. And if he does that, it's a wash. I think he knocks out Bryce Mitchell. I think the thing about John Silva is he's fucking big boned. Like, he's just so fucking physically. It reminds me a lot of Ilya Topuria. These guys are just so physically strong. It's crazy. I think on the feet, this is kind of a wash, to be honest. I think Silva is gonna be bouncing in and out, and then it's gonna like if he's able to stuff these takedowns from Mitchell, which I do think he will if he's just smart. I mean, he's going to spark Mitchell like quick in the first round because Mitchell fights out of southpaw just like Melsik Bagdasaryan, but he didn't really have like those lightning fast leg kicks like Bagdasaryan to at least attempt to keep Silva at range. I think Silva should just be able to bounce in, hit him fucking hard, and knock him the fuck out. That's really what I think is going to happen. But if Mitchell can somehow survive, who knows if Silva will get tired. But I honestly don't think Silva gets tired, because we saw him go fucking toe-to-toe with Drew Dober in elevation in Denver and not slow down whatsoever. But at the same time, there wasn't really a grappling pace put on him. I think Silva wins. I think if he just doesn't jump guillotine, if he doesn't try to punch instead of defending the takedowns, he just needs to defend the takedowns, turn him around. He's the physically stronger guy. Mitchell's not like some high-level wrestler. I think he'll knock him out, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just think that this is a perfect storm here for John Silva. Bryce Mitchell, good win against fucking Crone Gracie. Good job, buddy. You beat Crone Gracie in your last fight. I don't know. That's literally the only thing he's had since that brutal knockout loss against Josh Emmett. But this is going to play out very similar, man. It really is. Like Josh Emmett, he's a very, similar build, like a thick guy that has just insane natural strength that you really think is not gonna, you're not too confident in the fact that you're gonna be able to wrestle this guy and hold him down. Like, I'm not confident in Bryce Mitchell's ability to get this fight to the ground, unless it's like a third round where both of these guys are somehow zapped, which I don't think it makes it there. So I really think that it's got John Silva written all over it. Not only is there beef here, like there's personal fire between these two, but it's just like this guy he's a madman. John Silva is a madman. The way he just smiles in there with you and just like toys and taunts his opponents and just like it's as if he's having too much fun at times. But then that it's just that he exudes so much confidence. He's never really worried about getting knocked out. He's never really worried about getting submitted. And I just think that's going to be the case here too, because on the feet, I just think he's going to look at Paddy Pimblett like just some punching bag. I really do. He's just going to be like, you're Paddy Pimblett. You're not a threat to knock me out. I'm just going to come forward, do what I do, smile and laugh in your face, and close the distance and land one of my big hooks right on that temple, right on that jaw, and put you to sleep. That's the way he's thinking. And Bryce Mitchell is going to have to play the safest fight of his career, and somehow outlast John Silva in those first couple rounds to be able to implement his game plan. But what is his game plan? To get it to the feet, to get it to the ground and submit John Silva. But we've never seen John Silva even threatened like that. So yeah, man, this is a John Silva all over it. I would be pretty surprised if it was any other outcome than a John Silva vicious knockout.
Yeah, I'm with you. Triad Bryce is gonna look like Drew Dober in his last fight with Silva.
Oh my God, Drew Dober looked so bad for how that Manuel Torres fight that lasted like 2 minutes. But my days,
I don't think he looked bad. Just Torres hits like a fucking truck.
No, but he looked like, I don't know. He really looked like a little frantic in there. Like he just wasn't really getting the read on the timing of Torres whatsoever, and it just was. It felt like a matter of time since like the first 10 seconds of that fight. I was like, oh my god, he's about to get clocked. I knew it, and yeah, it was bad. But no, that's how this one's gonna feel too. Like from the moment this fight starts, you're just gonna be waiting for that big shot to come, and it's gonna come quick.
EG saying Silva probably trains all day. Mitchell too busy talking about random
Yeah,
stuff.
bro.
Yeah,
This guy is going to be the next, CNN, whatever, Fox News guy after this fight, bro. Because he might be done in the UFC. This might be one of those.
He looked like
Not
Bryce.
CNN, but Fox News. I mixed it up. But no, bro. The concussion that he received in that Josh Emmett fight. I think it might be even worse this time around. Like it's gonna be bad, bro. It's gonna be bad.
Yeah, it's gonna be a funny fight. Very funny fight. All right, let's move on. Co-main event time. Michael Chandler, Paddy Pimblett. It's a weird fight because if this fight was taking place 2 years ago, I'm max betting Michael Chandler. Max fucking betting. But it's not. And I think Michael Chandler looked awful in that Charles Oliveira fight. Awful. 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 I honestly think that's the first example of somebody taking so many steroids before a fight. It just fucked his body up. And he just went in there. It looked awful. That's literally what I saw. And I mean, at this point, he's just I don't know if Charles Oliveira is known for having incredible submissions. First of all, it's very impressive that Chandler was able to not get submitted by Oliveira after he had his back for that long. But he got wrestle fucked by Charles Oliveira. It's not like Charles Oliveira is some sort of high level wrestler. He's an incredible grappler, incredible. But he's not really a high level wrestler. And I think Pimblett, if crazy, it sounds crazy, but if Oliveira is able to hold him down for that long, Pimblett should as well. Obviously, Oliveira's striking is significantly better than Pimblett's, but Pimblett looked good in his last fight against Bobby Green. Showed a very high fight IQ, and his jiu-jitsu is disgusting, so he can threat a lot of submissions, even if he doesn't get them. Yeah, I think Paddy Pimblett should be able to wrestle Michael Chandler here to a win. Sounds crazy, but Oliveira literally just did it. Again, I know there's levels, but when it comes to pure wrestling, I mean, I think Paddy Pimblett's probably on the same level as Charles Oliveira. So I think Pimblett should be able to execute a similar game plan and get the win.
Yeah, man. This is a 5-rounder, what makes it a little more interesting because, like, I've always been low on Paddy Pimblett. Since his debut, to be honest, he didn't look good in his debut. He won it, but it was like a weird one where it was like Luigi Vendramini, and he hurt him and almost, got Pimblett before he eventually composed himself and finished the fight. But since that moment, like I feel like Paddy Pimblett's just been like, he just has fallen short of the expectations that we've all put on him, when he was signed to the UFC. And he hasn't really lost yet, so you can't say anything about it. But, there's been close ones, man. There's been some close ones, especially the Jared Gordon one, which we all know. But you're catching Michael Chandler at a great time here. You are catching Michael Chandler at a perfect time. He did not look good against Charles Oliveira. He's now 38 years old. He waited 3 years to fight Conor, and it never happened. So he fought Charles instead, and it didn't look good for him. But I just, yeah, man, what worries me about Chandler is that cardio, dude. Like, it's a 5-round fight. And, like, the finishing potential early, if Paddy is not on his P's and Q's, which is a big possibility because this guy isn't the cleanest striker. He's never been a clean striker. Like I said, he was getting clipped by Luigi Vendramini. If you're getting clipped by Luigi Vendramini, you got to clean some stuff up. And I don't know if he's cleaned it all the way up just yet. But, I mean, I think he's improving.
I think he looked pretty good in that Bobby Green fight on the feet. Like
he did. Like that was a little more encouraging to see from him. But I just, like, you are going to really have to be on your P's and Q's here because Chandler, he swings like the biggest shots in the division. He's always swinging to take your head off, and whether it's punches or kicks, because we all remember that Tony Ferguson freaking front kick to the face. Obviously, I don't think that's ever going to be replicated, especially not in a spot like this. But it just goes to show, like, he is going to swing shots until he can't anymore. But I really think there will come a time in this fight where, like, I don't know what point in the fight Paddy's going to look at to start implementing the wrestling, like whether he's going to do it right off the bat. I don't think that's the smartest thing. Like, I actually think it'd be smarter for him to, like, engage in some striking with Chandler, play it smart, and stay at a distance, but do some work and just make him fight. Because when he gets tired and so sloppy, Chandler, it's one of the ugliest fighters to watch because he's just in there huffing and puffing with his freaking big ass. He's so big, dude, for the division. It looks so exaggerated. But when he's tired, he is zapped. And, like, I think this being a 5-round fight actually does favor the Brit here. I think like round two, end of round two is when Michael Chandler is going to start looking a little gassed. Like he's going to start to have, his mouth open, breathing heavy, and swinging those shots that are going to become a lot more easy to read for Patty. So I think in those scenarios where that is probably going to happen, like that's going to make it a lot easier for Patty to score some takedowns, get the fight to where he feels the most comfortable, and then start to work your way to the back, because Michael Chandler's defense against back takes has never been good. Charles got there multiple times in both fights. And I just think that, yeah, Patty's really, really, really good at taking the back. So I think Patty by submission is going to be my pick here, like later in the fight, round 3, round 4, round 5, maybe even. But I think I'm going to say round 4. Round 4 submission for Patty Pimblett. But he's going to have to be really.
But how does he do that if Oliveira can't?
Because I just think like Chandler's going to be so gassed, bro. He's going to be death gassed.
Why is he going to be more gassed than last time?
Hey, he's a little older now. I don't know, but I mean, maybe it could be a decision.
By what, 5 months?
I don't know, man. It's the way this guy fights. Like he's. It's true. If Charles isn't submitting you, I guess like Patty. But Patty's really good, man. He's really good. He's got a sneaky rear naked, man. Like that shit is lethal.
Oliveira is the best rear naked in UFC history.
I know, man. You're not telling me anything new. I just is there not so there's no chance that Patty can submit him?
No, I think it was a decision.
Okay, but there's a chance that he submits him, is in my eyes. I think he can definitely do it. Just given that this is like this is the fight where if Chandler loses the way I think he could lose, then it's like, okay, bro, you're not in contention for anything. But if he successfully gatekeeps here,
that's actually crazy. I'm looking at the lines, and the fight to go is plus 375. That's kind of insane. Because
they're thinking how I'm thinking. I just think
that decision is plus 800. Where's my draft here?
Hey, bro, like I'm saying, I mean, there is a good possibility he could win a close decision too. But
maybe you're right. Maybe I'm going crazy. Maybe he cancels. I don't know.
He could win it. No, but he could win by submission. Chandler could win by knockout early. Chandler could win by knockout late somehow if he is still, about it and breathing. But the way I just see this fight playing out is a lot of chaos early, as is, typical for the Michael Chandler fights. And then by the end of round 2, round 3, Michael Chandler is just pretty much done. And Patty's able to get to the back and, ground and pound, boom, boom, land some big shots. Michael Chandler is gasping for air. And I think it's possible that he gets sub. But, yeah, I'm going to go Pimblett either way. I think this is a good time to catch Michael Chandler. And it is a fight that if you're Patty Pimblett, you kind of need this, man, to be the star that we thought you were, like, to have a chance to revive that hype. This is a fight that he needs to win. So it's a good spot for him. I think it's like one of the most winnable matchups in the top, 7 of the lightweight division for him. So I like it, but not too confident, I will say, because Michael Chandler is just very unpredictable with everything that he does. But it's a good matchup once again.
We got Cole saying Patty by however he wants. EG saying Chandler by sub, and then he fights McGregor.
Chandler sub. Interesting. And then he fights McGregor. Yes, everybody can't wait for that. McGregor Chandler, finally. Let's go.
McGregor's done.
Dude, McGregor is like Irish governor now, whatever. He's like the president of Ireland. He's trying to
run for president. I don't think he subs Patty. I think Patty's too good with his jiu-jitsu to get subbed. This is the only winnable first fight for Chandler he's ever fought. He's only fought killers. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't really think Tony Ferguson at that stage of his career is a killer, but he did murder him, so fair. This is probably the only winnable. Oh, I already read that. Tobe saying I low-key got Chandler. A lot of people low-key got Chandler, but I think his body's done at this point. You get Oliveira BJJ status after stubbing Bobby Green and losing to Aaron
Gordon on the Denver Nuggets.
Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon.
I know he made the switch.
I didn't know that either. Feels like he'd be a heavyweight, right? Aaron Gordon.
He would be. Yeah, he's a big guy.
Like what, 6'8", 6'10"?
Yeah, he's huge. He's like one of the Steph. How tall was Stephen Struve? Like
7 foot.
Really?
7 foot, yeah.
Yeah, he was. Holy shit, man. That Tuivasa Struve fight, man, that was hilarious. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, that
But
was
how did we get to Stephon Struve? I don't know.
learn about Aaron Gordon.
We got one more fight to go, baby.
All right, let's do it. I'm going
Man.
Patty decision plus 800. That's a Loki alert.
Hey man, that's a call. That's a shout right there. I might have to, cause just for the price tag, I do feel like that's a little crazy.
Oliveira just won a decision against Chandler. Why can't Patty do the same?
True.
I mean, no, Patty should. That means Patty won't finish. I don't fucking know. I'm going Patty decision. Fuck it. There you go. Main event: Alexander Volkanovski, Diego Lopes. Yeah, I mean, I've already given out multiple times on my page. I like Alexander Volkanovski, and he's one of my biggest bets ever when it comes to a money line. I think this is a very winnable fight for him outside of round one, and this is how I think you should play this fight. And I think I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Volkanovski is the much better fighter when it comes to just technically. He's better everywhere. The only two aspects of martial arts that Lopes is probably better at is he's got more punching power. We can all agree on that, and he's got better jiu-jitsu. Everything else, Volkanovski's better at. He's better technically. He's faster. Better wrestler. He's just better everywhere else, right? Better fight IQ. He's just an overall higher level fighter. And Lopes is very beatable. But Lopes's path to victory is a round one knockout. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be absolutely nuking Volkanovski because I think after round one, Diego Lopes is fucked. But I'm going to also sprinkle that round one Diego Lopes knockout, which is currently lined at, if they have it out, on Bet Online, it's plus 950. I think that's a way you can make guarantee money. We've seen Diego Lopes fade big time after the first two rounds. Go ahead and look at that Dan Ige fight. He looked like he was cooked. I think, man, this guy has never had a main event. He's never had a championship fight. Now he's facing one of the most experienced fighters in UFC history. Alexander Volkanovski, if he survives that round one, this should be his fight. It's going to be his fight to lose, in my opinion. So, yeah, Volk money line and hedge sprinkle on Lopes round one knockout. I think this is a very, very easy fight to either the way if you bet the fight in that way, you're taking like no risk, in my opinion. I think Volkanovski should wash Lopes if he survives round one, but then again, Lopes has a shit ton of power, and again, I do think Volkanovski has taken an ample amount of time off. After what, a year and 2 months it's been. I think that's good. And also, I don't think Lopes is Ilia Topuria. Like the way Topuria cuts angles is just completely different. I think Lopes will be able to avoid the big. I mean, I think Volkanovski will be able to avoid the big power shots early, and I think he'll dominate. I love Volk here, big time. Toby saying the disrespect of Volk being minus 130. People must have forgot. Yeah, people definitely did forget. Once more lines come out, I'm thinking of probably Volk money line, Dan Ige spread, and Marco Tulio money line. We'll get into that later. Right now, I'm focused on Volk. The Diego mystique will collapse in this one. I agree. I've made money on every single Diego Lopes win in his career. He's made me a fuck ton of money. But I'm telling you right now, this is the time to fade him. He's one of my most profitable fighters ever. This is the time to fade him, in my opinion. Alexander Volkanovski wins by either late finish or decision. I could see him like ground and pound late finish. Look at what he did to Yair. I could see something similar happening here. We saw Dan Ige kind of like having him on his back and beating him up at the end of that round 3. Why can't Volkanovski finish him late in that same exact position? I don't see why not. I just hope he's not fucking washed. I don't think he is, though. And I think this is a winnable fight for Alexander the Great Volkanovski. And new, either way, but it's going to be Volk.
Bruh, I mean, as far as like how excited I could get for a fight, I don't think I could be more excited for a fight. Like the matchup is amazing. Both of these guys like are as exciting as it gets. All action, never a dull moment with these two. So I mean, it's just gonna be a blast from start to finish, however long it lasts. But man, like it for me personally, it is a tough one to call. It is a very tough one to call, and there's a lot of external factors that are kind of swaying me in one direction or the other. But a lot of those are on the Volkanovski side, and I don't think I'm kind of crazy for saying that I'm a little concerned about this guy. I mean, after what he's recently been through. I mean, I am happy, just like Dom Reyes did. He's taken the right amount of time off after, back-to-back performances where he just got, knocked out pretty badly both times. Like they were really bad knockouts. And you got to take some time off. So I'm glad he did. And he is he's always going to have supreme confidence in himself. I will always down this hill. Like, I don't know as far as like where he ranks in the GOAT standings at his division, featherweight. I don't know where he ranks. He's definitely top 3 all time, but where he ranks, whatever. He's one of the most skilled fighters that I've ever seen. So that alone, right? Just the fact that there's not many fighters like when this guy is on, when he fought Max Holloway the third time, I was speechless. I actually did not know what to say. He looked so untouchable in that fight. And I feel like that version of Volk is definitely still in there. But I'm just, man, like I'm worried
You're
about
on the other side. Like, I don't even know. Like, you know better, bro. Come on.
dog.
I
Don't do
literally
that. Don't
never
do
pressure you
that.
into picking somebody. Come on, bro. Don't be stupid.
Huh?
I literally never, ever. I don't think I've ever pressured you into picking somebody. Don't be stupid here.
Bro, don't first of all, don't shut my thinking down like that. I really feel like this is a lot tougher than people are making this out to be. Just because, like, yeah, Volk is, I mean, Diego's never faced anybody like this. Obviously, that goes without saying. But I mean, like, he does have insane power, and you said like I think he's gonna be the faster guy by a pretty comfortable margin. Volk hasn't been the faster guy in the last 3 fights that he's fought, and that's why the outcomes have been what they've been. Like, or 3 out of the 4, I guess. Like, I just think that Lopez, man, on the feet, he is very scary. And then if for some reason there's like a flash knockdown or anything, the chances, like we've seen Volk get caught in some submissions a few times. Like, has he survived? Yes, but it's not like he's adverse to those positions. I really think that Diego Lopez has some finishing potential in this fight. Um, and you can't like confidently say that you have no concerns about Alex Volkanovski's chin. I mean, when you're fighting a guy like that, like this, that has insane power. And by the way, the stat that I came across may, I don't know, have something to do with what I'm saying. Fighters that are 36 and older fighting in title fights. Guess their all-time record in 25 fights. Guess the record.
I don't care.
It's 2-23. It's 2
Make
and
it 3-23. I don't care, bro. This is a different matchup, bro. This guy
But
Lopez,
it doesn't matter what it
bro,
doesn't matter what the
like
matchup
I
is.
said, he got knocked out by Islam, 155er, got caught with a head kick. It is what it is. Fought Ilia Topuria, probably pound for pound the best fighter in the UFC. No, he is the pound for pound best fighter in the UFC right now. His footwork, his boxing is on a different level. Lopez doesn't have that. He hits hard as fuck. And I'm hedging my massive bet with a round 1 knockout. But he can't cut the angles.
But I think, but Lucas, this is where I disagree. This is where I disagree.
Right, let me talk. You gotta look deeper into this fight than Volk just has a bad chin and he hits hard. I agree. You're right. But you have to look deeper into this fight.
Are you telling me that I'm not looking deep into the fight? Like, what are you trying to say, bro?
That Lopez isn't able to do what Topuria cut the like Volkanovski was winning that fight.
This is a very skilled fighter in Diego Lopez. I know he doesn't have that predatory, just like stalk you aura on the feet that a lot of these guys have in the division, where Ilya has that. Like, he is constantly making reads and you can tell like he's looking for that precise shot. But Lopez can do the same thing at just a different level. Like, he's not lulling you to sleep with his movement and then just looking for that one shot.
This is a guy that lost to Nate Richardson 3 years ago.
What?
This is a guy that lost to Nate Richardson 3 years ago.
3 years ago is a long freaking time, dude.
All of a sudden, he's going to go in there and be
number 3 in the world right now for a reason. He's made the improvements, and he is a completely different fighter. He is a world-class fighter, Diego Lopez. I really agree. And we can't forget that this guy has if not top 3, some of the nastiest jiu-jitsu in the UFC. Is that not a factor in this fight? I mean, this guy has finishing
no, I think
wherever it goes. I know he's not a wrestler. I agree that Volkanovski is the better wrestler. He's the better striker, yes. But over the course of 5 rounds, especially if you think that Lopez has finishing potential early, and I think that he could definitely hurt him in the first round and even in the second round. Like, yeah, he slows down, but I don't think that first and second round is out of the question for him to do some damage and steal those rounds too. So I could see Diego Lopez doing enough damage early to bag the first couple of rounds and make Volk fans really nervous. And then, eventually Volk starts to make his reads more. And as Diego Lopez
is cooked. He's cooked.
Okay, that's fair, but maybe he's not cooked to the point. When is Diego's going to get finished? But I really don't think Diego's going to get finished. Like, he could, but I don't think he's subbing Diego Lopez. He's too good on the ground to be subbed. So what are you saying? He's going to ground and pound him. That's a very popular take. Like, that's how a lot of people see this fight playing out, because that's how Volk fights. He's a very smart fighter that gets to dominant positions. And he's going to have potential to do that in this matchup. But I just think you're being a little unfair to Diego Lopes because
I'm
this
not.
is not somebody that just fades away after one round. Like he's withers away and is not a threat. Like he's still there and he still has power and he still has insane jiu-jitsu. So if Volk is not up for this, and if he is even 1 or 2 clicks back on the speed department or 1 or 2 clicks back in the reaction department, and he just gets caught, we've seen it 2 times in a row now. I mean, I don't see how people are so confident in
best
Volk.
fighter in the world and against the second best fighter in the world. Diego Lopes isn't even one of the 10 best fighters in the world.
He's 36, man. He's 36. And I just told you the stats. I feel like in the lighter divisions, it's even worse. Like, the guys that are winning titles that when they're older are in the heavy division where the reactions don't matter, when you don't have to be on your P's and Q's because all those guys fight slow as hell anyways. If you are even 1 or 2 steps off of your game at these weight classes, you will pay the price. And I just think that there's a big possibility for that to continue. I'm just gonna look. The stats say the story.
Stats. You sound retarded. I'm sorry. The stats. The stat of other
I just pulled it up about the fighters that take title fights at this stage in their career after coming off. You're completely dismissing the potential that Volkanovski is just not what he was, and I'm just willing to bet that he's not. I just don't think that
he's not what he was.
Huh?
What has shown you that he's not what he was?
That his reaction time and his durability are fading. You're making me sound insane for saying something very obvious. I don't understand what you're arguing.
Topuria is pound for pound one of the hardest hitters of all time. He is incredible. Did you see what he did to Max Holloway? Did you see what he did to Max Holloway as well? Fucking sane. Islam Makhachev, in my opinion, the second best fighter in the world, and he was moving up on a few days' notice. Volkanovski won every single minute of that Ilia Topuria fight up until he got knocked out. That's a fact. What has shown you that he is not the same? There is a chance. Don't get me wrong. There is a chance he goes in there, he looks washed after 2. But what has shown? There's nothing that's proved us that
the back-to-back knockout losses show me that there's a potential that this guy is not
level Diego Lopes. And that's a fact.
I'm not questioning his skill. I'm not questioning his skill. I just prefaced everything I said with saying that I think he's one of the most skilled fighters I've ever watched with my own 2 eyes. So I'm not saying it's a skill thing. I'm saying that Diego Lopes is so explosive as an athlete. And I think at this stage in his career, in his UFC career, where I'm willing to bet that Diego Lopes, since he's been looking better and better and better in every one of his fights, and he's 30 years old, now presumably hitting his prime, fighting somebody that's been in how many consecutive title fights, lost back-to-back, and is probably, if I was willing to bet, again, fading in one way or another, whether it's in the reaction department, whether it's in the power department, whether it's in one or the other, because that's evidenced by back-to-back knockout losses, which hadn't happened for years and years and years, even when he's facing guys with that potential. Like, he's fought killers like that before. Max almost had him out of there. Aldo, Mendez, these are guys that hit hard as shit. But now is when it's mattering the most. And Diego Lopes has the potential to exploit that if it is even a step or 2 off. That's what I'm saying. And I think I'm not crazy for saying that. And I don't know. I have a weird pick about this one. Again, not confident at all. I am just super, super excited to watch this one because I think it's going to be fireworks from the start. But my weird pick, and this is just how I feel about this fight. I do think that in the first 2 rounds, we're going to see the best of both guys. And Lopes is going to connect with something that hurts Volk again. I think he bags one or both of the first 2 rounds. And if Volk survives, I think he can come on strong and do better work late. But I still think that Diego will have done enough damage to win a decision, if not finish the fight. But I'm picking Diego Lopes just because I'm willing to bet that Volk is not what he was, man. I'm just willing to bet that the championship days of Volk are over. And I mean, even if he does win this fight, like, he's not. What are we talking about, man? Look at this division, dude. Like, he's not. I don't know, man. This is the younger division. The lighter divisions. I always trust the older guys less, and I think that's perfectly reasonable because history has shown that they have a tougher time, hanging down there than they do in the heavier weights. When you can have a 42-year-old Glover and a 43-year-old Jan competing with the best of the best. Like, when you're 40, when you're 38 in these divisions, you lose a step or 2, and I'm willing to bet that that's the case.
I might quit this podcast, honestly. Like, there's no way.
This is insane for a minus 130 favorite.
Are you gonna let me talk?
How confident you are in
let me talk?
130, bro.
There is no way my co-host just predicted somebody that gasses after 2 rounds.
You wouldn't think this dude is minus 1,000.
Let me finish.
He's minus 130.
Gasses after 2 rounds. That's never been in main event that has 0 championship experience. You just picked him to win a decision.
Bro, you talk to me like this when I pick Duplessis by decision. So I'm not listening to whenever you talk to me like this anymore. Like, you making me sound crazy, but I'm sticking to my guns, and I explained it the best way I could. Am I saying I'm confident in that pick? No, I'm saying it's a possibility that I see, and that's what I'm gonna roll with. But at the same time, look, man, this is one of those cards where a lot of the picks that I've made, I could look very dumb. I mean, but look. I'm not feeling so strongly about Volk. And I love Volk more than most, man. I really do, but I just think that this is not the best time for this matchup. And also, like, again, I'm not the only one that thinks like this. Like, I could find like 10 other people that agree with me on this one. Like, you're making me sound like some crazy man for picking this. This is crazy. I will EG. I will definitely do that shit, bro, because I feel like I'm getting disrespected right now. He's saying I might quit the podcast for picking a fucking.
I just thought you were smarter. I just thought you were smarter
or some shit, bro.
I just thought you were smarter than this. I just thought you were smarter than this. That's all. That's all.
You're out of your mind. The way you're talking now, I am so hoping. I don't want to root against Volk, but now I am because of the way you're talking. Like, I gotta be right about this one now, bro. Because you're just like making me like, I don't even know, bro. Whatever. Either way, this matchup here is probably the most excited I've been about a single matchup this year. I think bar none. Like, I haven't been this excited about a fight in a while. This is going to be a fun fight. Like, just high octane, high energy. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
It's going to be a beatdown after 2 rounds, folks. That's all I'm going to say. Let's see what the chat has to say. What do we got? We got a lot of shit. We'll get back to. Yeah, okay, let's see. The disrespect of Volk being minus 130, people have forgotten. That's what I'm saying. We already saw that. I envision Lopez touching the chin. Volk stumbles and Lopez. I mean, I think it's, as I mentioned, I think he's round 1 or bust here. I think outside of round 1, he's kind of fucked. I think if Volk escapes round 1, he's getting his reads. I think Lopez is a very beatable fighter, and I think we clicked. I think Movstar beats both of these guys, to be honest. I'm just stating my opinion, man. I'm very confident in this.
No, we never get too heated. No, it's just friendly banter. But
it's all for the content. Come on. But at the same time, I might quit this podcast because are you stupid?
I love Diego Lopez, man. That's our loyal.
No, he liked our post one time. Yeah, that was like his first win ever.
Showing him the same love.
He's made me a lot of money, is what I'm saying. But with all this being said, Volk money line. You know, like
that's fair.
Tobe saying, to be fair, Volk was too active and always stepping up on short notice. Now that he's taking time, I do think we're going to see it.
I hope we do.
And he's been saying a lot of good things. I mean, of course, he's saying it about himself, but a lot of good things about his camp. He's like cut out just drinking. His weight. Also, dude, this is another thing. Lopez cuts a lot of fucking weight, dude. A lot of weight. He's a big featherweight. It's a big one. And now he's cutting that extra pound. It's important, man. It's important.
True. Let's see how it looks on the scales.
Never. I do this for a living, brother. I'm not cashing out. And I'm gonna make a shit ton of money. And even if Lopez wins by round 1 knockout, there's a chance I walk out with small profit. Yeah.
I'm gonna hit that boogie down, baby.
Might boogie down, but I don't know. Ro. This is probably our longest podcast ever, 1 hour and 43 minutes. That's kind of fucking crazy. It's a great card.
Yeah, exactly. Deserves it. A great card. Literally, it should be the best of the year. I don't want to jinx it, but it has that written on the card. On the top of the card, it says best of the year. So let's see. Hopefully it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for you today. A lot of great debates. A lot of, we usually don't disagree this much, but we disagreed on a bunch of fights. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a banger. It's my biggest gambling card ever. So if you want access to all of our bets, we're probably going to do a little free trial. This is probably the last time I'm ever going to do a free trial because I'm going to bang this week. I'm going to cash Volk. I'm going to cash Olajayshuk. And once, I'm done. I'm done after that. This is the last one. Yeah, that's all we got. Rohan, any final words?
Hey, man, be on the lookout for more content. We will have a bunch of shit coming for IG. Obviously, the Discord will definitely do a parlay stream at some point this week. We'll probably do it earlier in the week, to be honest.
Yeah, Thursday.
But yeah, just be on the lookout for all sorts of content and enjoy this weekend's card, man. It's going to be a banger. I cannot wait. Hopefully, card of the year, man. It's got that potential.
I'm absolutely ecstatic. If you want everything related to Counterpunch, you just have to click below this live stream. Check out the description. You'll see all of our social media pages. We're big on Instagram, TikTok, etc. And then if you want access to all of our bets, we've been crushing in 2025. Just click the link right over there. But for now, as I cue the outro. It's been Lucas and Rohan, our longest podcast ever, I believe. A lot of debates. It should be fun. We're going to be back probably on Thursday for our parlay stream. We almost did a parlay last time we did it. We're going to do it this time. But for now, it's been Lucas and Rohan. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Adios. Peace.